Now, I know for me, in Poser 8, I'm not sure about earlier versions, but usually just after I hit Calculate Simulation, right up at the top here it says Poser is not responding. If that happens for you, don't panic. That doesn't mean the program has crashed or anything has gone wrong. It just means that all of Poser's resources right now are going into doing this cloth calculation. So don't, hit Control Alt Delete and kill the program and send me an angry email. Just just be patient. It takes a good chunk of time for the thing to get going. Normally I find it takes about 2 minutes for the little dialog box to come up to tell you that the dynamics are being calculated. So don't panic at this point, just have a little patience, okay? Now what I normally find is like with the high res hair, each prop, like it's 2 props like I said, each prop tends to take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes depending on the pose and of course the length of animation you've given it to work with and all of that. If you're using a more dramatic pose, then you might want to give yourself some extra frames of animation to work with. Also, the more things that the hair is colliding with, the longer it's going to take. So as a general rule, I like to keep it so that the hair is just colliding with Victoria 4. I tend to avoid having it collide like with her clothing or with props, other props in the scene like furniture and stuff like that. If I can avoid that, usually I will, specifically to save myself some time on the calculations here. But you can have the hair colliding with just about anything you like. So computer performance is definitely an issue here. Like for example, my computer here is it's a quad core processor. It's about 2.4 gigahertz per core, I think, and I have about 8 gigabytes of RAM. And I'm running Windows 7 here. Actually, it's 1:30 a.m. Yeah, I like to work at night, so yeah, I'm running Windows 7, and it's a 64-bit OS, but this is a 32-bit program, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, with that, I usually find it takes about 5 to 10 minutes per prop, so about 15-20 minutes total. So like if you're using a computer that's not quite as powerful as mine, or like a single core processor or a dual core processor or something like that, then you might want to stick with using the low res hair, specifically because it is kind of processor intense, and it could take a long time to work with. The high res hair is good for the more intricate collisions and all of that, but anyway, I'm rambling on again. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to pause the recording, and I'll come back once this is complete and we'll take a closer look at it. So you can see even with my babbling, we're already at frame 11 of our animation, and right here that's actually a little timer that tells you how long it took each frame to calculate. So you can see frame 13 here took 4.6 seconds. So you can kind of do the math, multiply that over 45 frames, and get an understanding of how long it takes. So like I said, I'm going to pause and stop psycho-babbling, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. The thick hair has just finished calculating. If you look at the time, it's 1:33, so you can kind of get an idea of how long that took to calculate. And you can see the results here. Actually, I'm just going to hide the second hair prop so we can get a better look at this. I'm just going to select it under Properties and check Visible. And so you can see what we have here. The hair kind of, it draped, along her back and into the small of her back very nicely, and it kind of rolled over her shoulder a little bit, and it didn't dangle into her face. So the Soft Decorate group is doing its job. You can see it kind of dangled. It's going a little bit forward right now, but that's okay. We gave it the extra frames of animation, so I kind of expected it to do that. So. Actually, I'm just going to select her elbow here. I'm sick of that red thing popping up. So here, so I'm just going to run through the animation real quick so you can get a good look at what happened here and how it's actually behaving. So I'm back on frame 1. So you can see that as I scrub through, the hair kind of drops down and it like rests on her back, just like you'd expect hair to do. And you can see, like, as she's moving forward, the hair's kind of leaning back a little bit, and it's like it's carrying weight and momentum, so it's it's a physics-based dynamic object, so it's going to behave accordingly. And see, as she gets into position, it kind of crashes into her back and flows and holds its shape. And now, because we gave it that extra 15 frames of animation, that essentially gives us 15 options of which image we'd want to render. So, I can kind of scrub through this and decide, okay, maybe I want the hair a little bit farther forward. So basically, you end up using the animation slider almost as a morph dial, right? Which is just pretty neat, and that's actually a big reason why I like working with dynamics so much. But so you can see, you can have the hair forward, or you can rewind your animation and have it, kind of dangling straight down, that's basically what I'm going to aim for. So where are we in our animation here? We're on frame 32. So I gave it that extra 15 frames, and we only really needed 2. So you can also see right by her wrist here, the hair actually collided with her arm, and it's kind of bending and hitting there, which is I actually didn't expect it to do that, but hey, that's one of those happy mistakes. So not too shabby, not too shabby. So I like that, and so with that out of the way, I'm going to move forward and calculate the second hair prop. So under props, I'm going to select my medium hair again, and now before you calculate a dynamic object, you want to make sure it's visible. I know it sounds like simple and obvious, but if you try to calculate something that's invisible, that's hidden, it actually brings up a bug within Poser that causes the calculations to go a little crazy. So make sure whatever you're calculating is visible in the scene. So the medium hair selected, I'm going to hit calculate simulation. Alright, we're back, and all our calculations are complete, and as you can see, it's looking pretty good. No problems popped up, and generally that's a good thing, but because this is a demonstration, I was actually kind of hoping a problem or two would pop up so I can show you guys visually how to handle it. So I'm just going to show you real quick the best way to handle things like for example, sometimes the hair will poke through her cheek regardless of what you do with your collision settings. So usually I find the best way to handle that is instead of calculating the whole thing again, I'm just going to go back to my pose room here. What I'll normally do is I'll select one of these props here, like I got the thick hair right now. I'm going to zoom in, and for tweaks like that, like small poke through and whatever, I'll use the morphing tool. So if you've never used it before, I'll just give you a quick crash course on how to use it for this anyway. So you click the little finger doodle here, and under create, usually I'll keep it on pull, and I'll put it relative to screen, and keep all of that default, and I'll turn off stroke, and I'll keep that one on. Accumulate, yeah, I'll keep that one on. And let's see here. So I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. So let's do that. And with all that set up, you can just kind of grab an area, like the offending area. You just kind of pull it to the side. I don't know how well, you can't really see it with the hair, but there you go. You can see there it is poking through her cheek. So you can just kind of grab it and pull it out. And right now it looks ugly, but you can see I got this really awkward bend going on there. Maybe I can find a better area so we can get a closer look. So yeah, there you go. So you can see you can just kind of grab it and move it however you see fit. And that's, if you've ever used ZBrush and used the move brush, then it works like that. It's like a kind of a simple version of that. Whenever you use the morphing tool, your object will end up with a little morph dial here called custom morph, and in this case I'm just going to delete it because I don't need it, so I'm just going to hit delete morph, and it's gone.